I love that it's fun and loud. I still stick with kind of the same like folk poetry lyrics, but the production route I'm taking with Linda Perry.
What was really going on upstairs in Neverland? For years, fans speculated. Rumors of secret rooms, alarms, and mystery echoed through Michael Jackson's fairy tale ranch. But no one truly knew. Until now. In a rare emotional revelation, Michael Jackson's daughter, Paris, has finally broken her silence about the upstairs, the one place even she wasn't allowed to explore as a child. Her words changed everything. If you thought you knew the king of pop, think again. This isn't just a story. It's the truth we were never supposed to hear. Born on August 29, 1958, in Gary, Indiana, Michael Jackson was the 8th of 10 children in a house filled with music and discipline. From an early age, he stood out. His voice was rich with emotion, and his movements seemed to channel something far beyond his years. At just 6 years old, he joined his brothers in the Jackson 5, dazzling crowds with performances that belied his youth. Their rise to fame was meteoric. With hits like I Want You Back and ABC, the Jackson 5 took over the charts, and Michael was the clear breakout star. But even as fans screamed his name, he was still just a boy being pushed hard by his father, Joe Jackson. Michael later revealed the pain of those early years, the strict rules, the rehearsals that ended in punishment, the innocence he never truly had. As he grew older, he longed for artistic freedom. In 1979, he released Off the Wall, marking his emergence as a solo artist. The album was a success, but Michael felt it hadn't received the recognition it deserved. Determined to outdo himself, he poured everything into his next project. That album, Thriller, would become the best-selling album of all time, launching him into a realm of superstardom that no one had ever seen before. Music videos like Thriller and Billie Jean changed the way the world viewed pop music. The moonwalk became a cultural phenomenon. Michael had become the king of pop, but the higher he rose, the more he seemed to retreat. He created Neverland Ranch, a sprawling sanctuary filled with amusement park rides, exotic animals, and dreams he never lived as a child. For the world, Neverland was a symbol of magic. For Michael, it was a desperate attempt to recapture the childhood that fame had stolen. There were whispers, of course, rumors about what went on behind those gates, stories of hidden rooms, alarms, and mysterious visitors. In a rare interview, his daughter Paris Jackson spoke of the upstairs in Neverland, a place she was never allowed to explore. She remembered doing homework downstairs while ceiling dust drifted down from above, her father dancing and rehearsing tirelessly. The image was innocent, but it raised questions. What else happened in those rooms no one visited? In 1993, the first wave of allegations rocked Michael's world. A 13-year-old boy accused him of abuse, and the media frenzy exploded. Michael claimed extortion. No charges were filed due to lack of evidence, but the damage to his reputation was devastating. A decade later, in 2005, he stood trial again for similar accusations. It was a brutal public ordeal. In the end, he was acquitted of all charges. Still, the shadow of suspicion never left him. For Michael, the only place he found real peace was with his children, Prince, Paris, and Biggie. He called them his joy, his grounding force in a chaotic world. He shielded them from the media, covering their faces in public and raising them in the safety of Neverland's walls. There, they were just kids. No flashing cameras, no judgment, just love, animals, laughter, and freedom. But when Michael died in 2009, everything changed. The world mourned, the internet crashed, fans gathered in cities around the globe. But for his children, the grief was personal and private. Paris, only 11 at the time, struggled the most. she was thrust into the spotlight overnight. For years, she battled depression, anxiety, and the crushing weight of the expectations tied to her last name. By age 15, she had attempted suicide more than once. Later, she opened up about her struggles, admitting that the pressure to be Michael Jackson's daughter nearly destroyed her. But through music, she found healing. Her songs tell the story of pain, survival, and identity. She stepped out of her father's shadow, not by mimicking his style, but by creating something of her own. Prince, Michael's eldest son, took a different path. He didn't inherit his father's musical talent, nor did he try to. Instead, he focused on continuing Michael's legacy of humanitarian work. He co-founded the Heal Los Angeles Foundation, providing food and resources to struggling families, just like his father once did with Heal the World. In interviews, Prince has said he never felt pressure to perform. He just wanted to make his dad proud. Biggie, the youngest and most private, remained silent for years. Rarely seen in public, he stayed hidden. By choice or protection, no one really knows. But in 2019, when the controversial documentary Leaving Neverland aired, something changed. According to his cousin, Biggie, once a talkative, energetic boy, suddenly stopped speaking altogether. It was as if the world's renewed hatred for his father had silenced him too. Yet the media rarely told that story. Instead, it focused on his changing appearance, the surgeries, the eccentric behavior, and the controversies. Tabloids turned his life into a circus. By 2009, financial trouble had consumed him. Despite owning one of the most valuable music catalogs in the world, Michael was drowning in debt. He agreed to a massive comeback tour, This Is It, hoping it would save him. But behind the scenes, he was spiraling, addicted to painkillers, emotionally exhausted, and under immense pressure. On June 25, 2009, Michael Jackson died of cardiac arrest. The official cause, an overdose of propofol administered by his doctor, Conrad Murray. He was just 50 years old. His death was ruled a homicide. Dr. Murray was later convicted of involuntary manslaughter. But the damage was done. The world had lost one of its greatest entertainers, and 3 children had lost their father. In the years that followed, his estate surged in value. Posthumous album sales broke records. His unreleased music brought in hundreds of millions. In 2024, Sony Music paid $600 million for half of his music catalog, marking the largest deal ever for a single artist. But his children stayed quiet. Until recently. Paris shared raw stories of her mental health struggles. Prince stepped into the light to continue his father's work. And Biggie, in a rare quote, finally spoke up. Our dad was not the person the media portrayed him to be. He was much, much more. For years, the public expected the Jackson children to step into their father's shoes. But what the world didn't understand was that those shoes were impossible to fill. The pressure to carry a legacy, defend a name, and grieve publicly was too much for any child. Michael Jackson gave the world unforgettable music, revolutionary performances, and a message of love. But he also gave everything he had, his privacy, his peace, his childhood, and in the end, his life. Now, his children are telling the story he never could. And maybe, just maybe, it's time we start listening. Michael Jackson's legacy is more than music. It's mystery, pain, and love. As his children step into the light, the truth finally begins to surface. Like, comment, and subscribe for more untold stories behind the world's biggest icons. Thanks for watching.